Okay, my friends, welcome to the next installment of the Living Oracle podcast, where I bring through Akashic guidance for ascending souls. I am your host, Amy Blair. I'm super jazzed to have you here with me. The energies are, I don't know what to say. I mean, I literally don't know how to describe this energy. I mean, I have ideas, but it's so intense and I'm so deeply in my own process of it that it's very hard to talk about. And it's also very, very new. So a lot of the analogies that I used to draw upon to describe our reality, we're talking about the 4D. Trying to describe what's happening in the 5D feels it feels out of reach. The best I can do is describe the process of getting to 5D, I guess. Before I get really into it, I'm going to say that this is an energy report style podcast. So while I am technically reporting on the energies as I am experiencing them and feeling them in real time, which is Wednesday, April 9th, 2025, the codes that come through as I describe these energies and report on them are timeless codes. So you could listen to any episode at all, no matter when it was recorded, even if it was recorded 7 months ago or 15 months ago. It wouldn't matter, because the codes that come through in that episode, as you allow yourself to be intuitively drawn to it, will activate your next level of consciousness, unlock something that helps you to experience a realization. It will bring you the clarity that you are asking for, and also sometimes the clarity you didn't even know you needed, but there it is. So I hope that you listen to this podcast in that manner and you don't just listen to it like around the astrology or what's happening right now, because there's just so much here. I hope you allow it to truly and deeply nurture and support you through these crazy times. Oh my God, because they're crazy. They're crazy. Okay. That's the end of this energy report. The energies are crazy. You're welcome. Goodbye. I could end it there because that is what's up. But I'm going to try to talk into it at a more nuanced level. So first of all, I just want to say that I recorded an energy report last week and it was really, really in flow. Like, it was a really good one. That doesn't often happen, where I'm like, fuck, it's just like streaming right out of me. Like, this is great. This is gold. I don't often think that. Most of the time I think that what I'm saying is drivel and shit, and I just press publish anyway. And then you guys tell me you like it. But that one was really good. And guess what? I paused it just to see how long I was talking, and the recording had stopped at 4 minutes and 55 seconds. And it just made me so sad. It's taken like the whole week to recover. But I'm back. And God willing, this will end up in your ears. Anyways. Okay. So I don't even know how to comment on the astrology, because so many things are happening and they're so deep, and it's just like, I don't know. It's a lot. There still continues to be so much energy around Pisces. What you need to know is that we're still doing this dance between Pisces and Aries. And that is the theme for a good while, basically until the North Node leaves Pisces. That is going to be like a very strong energy, because there are so many different players and big players that are shifting between Pisces and Aries. It's the creation of a new cycle. So on the last energy report, I think, I don't know, it might have been the one that I recorded and it disappeared. Hashtag still heartbroken. But anyway, I was talking about, I put that one out. Okay, it was the eclipse, and then it was the partial solar eclipse in Aries on March 29th, and then on March 30th, Neptune shifted out of Pisces into Aries. That was so fresh at the time of recording that. I don't even know if it had happened. So here we are a couple weeks later. This week we're going to be having a full moon in Libra. Yes, A full moon in Libra. This is how I know I'm not a true astrologer, because I can't even remember. I remember the gist of it, okay? That's the important thing. But we're having a full moon in Libra. And it's also coinciding with the stationing direct of Venus, the stationing direct of Mercury. They're not all happening on the same day, although the full moon and Venus stationing direct in Pisces, those are both happening on the same day. But Mercury went direct on Monday. It's still in shadow. Like, it's in Pisces. Venus is in Pisces. The North Node is in Pisces. The full moon is going to be in Libra. Meanwhile, Neptune is in Aries. Saturn is on its way through the late degrees of Pisces, and it is preparing to join Neptune in Aries in May. But right now, Saturn is there really being the fucking taskmaster that is making sure that whatever loose ends and bullshit we need to wrap up, we need to see it. Saturn is a planet that I've had an interesting relationship with. I'm sure so many of us had, because it is the taskmaster, and it's that restrictive, like, it's easy for us to project the father figure onto it, although I don't think that's really fair, because I have seen so many fathers that don't have that energy at all. But it's like the person that is bringing you back to reality and making sure you learn those damn lessons. It's the teacher that won't let you pass the grade unless you get it. They're not just going to let you squeak by. That's the energy of Saturn. And it's a hard energy, because a lot of the time we want to squeak by, and the lessons of Saturn are not comfortable. But Saturn has a beautiful element as well. Saturn is kind of like a little bit of a critical-eyed perfectionist that is making sure that the angles are straight, the foundation is strong. Like, if there's too much Saturn energy, it can be very rigid and overly linear. But when Saturn is well balanced or elevated or exalted, Saturn is really just like making sure that what we move forward on is solid, which really matters, because if you're building your fucking dreams, the life of your dreams, like whatever that is for you, not what Instagram tells you should want, or TikTok or whatever. Instagram's the one that I'm on more often, so it's the one I can cite more with more familiarity. But I'm sure the other social media platforms, the way the algorithm works, it does the same thing as Instagram, I'm sure, which is give you a distorted idea of what you should want, Like, even just the ads that it sends your way. If you're somebody that's interested in makeup and you watch a lot of makeup tutorials, then it starts sending you a bunch of makeup ads. And then it's like you get this weird fucking subliminal messaging through your reticular activating system that you should want to look a certain way. And it's so weird. Do you want that? Is that actually you? Do you want it? No, probably not. So we're building the life of our real dreams, not the dreams the false matrix is trying to convince us that we want to live. Those are fourth dimensional dreams. We don't want those. We want the 5D dreams. You want the dreams where your heart is so activated and so flowing and so streaming every moment of every day of your entire existence, and that powerful energy is flowing from you towards everything that you actually care about and you actually matter. That's the fifth dimensional dream. That's the fifth dimensional timeline. The fourth dimension is kind of like a labyrinth. The energy, the way that the energy flows is very labyrinthine. It is, it's very complex. It's a very complex labyrinth. It is, in a sense, designed to trap you and distract you and divert you. And the ultimate goal of the labyrinth is to make it hard for you to get to the center. And it's the source at the center that you're wanting to get to. And it's also the portal out, and it's the portal through that allows you to connect with all of the dimensions all at once, at any given moment or in every moment. So you want to get to the center of the labyrinth, but the labyrinth, the way it's constructed, the way that energy flows through the fourth dimensional false matrix thing is very labyrinthine, and it's designed to make it difficult for the energy that streams out of you, off of you, as part of you, as an extension of you, makes it hard to get to the center. The fifth dimension flows like a kaleidoscoping mandala. I mean, it matches that. I don't know, if you've been listening to me for a while, if you're brand new to this, you'll probably think I'm insane. But if you, and also welcome, and hey, I'm so glad you're here. If you've been listening to me for a while, you've probably heard me refer to this structure that I started seeing in 2022 called I call it the rainbow crystalline snowflake mandala, because I don't know what else to call it. That's what it is. And it blooms out of our heart. Each of us has this unique shape, this unique configuration, and it looks like a crystalline snowflake shaped mandala that kaleidoscopes, and it is made of rainbow light. That's what I see off of people. Some people don't have theirs activated. Some people have theirs very activated. Some people have theirs like so hugely activated, it's like, that's when they step into their guardian level avatar consciousness, because their rainbow crystalline snowflake mandala is so activated and amplified that it can cover an entire area on the earth. Anyways, the fifth dimensional sort of template of reality matches that rainbow crystalline snowflake mandala. And what happens in that template, the way that energy flows in the fifth dimension, is it's always flowing to and from the center. So it's flowing, it's literally like our circulatory system in the heart. It is flowing from the center out to the outer parts, and then from the outer parts it is flowing back to the center, but it's bringing new information with it. So when it reaches the outer parts, there's some kind of alchemy rearranging that happens, new information, and then it's brought back to the center, and it's just circulated back and forth. And it's so beautiful. It's like the in-breath and the out-breath, and energy just flows so freely in the fifth dimension. So anyways, bringing that total ramble tangent back to what I was saying about Saturn, Neptune has dreamed the dream. It has gone through the whole Piscean dream, and it was wild. Ideally, what we would have understood as a collective, and I think what a lot of us do understand, and that's our job, is to anchor this understanding now. But ideally, what we would have come to understand as a collective through that Neptune in Pisces transit, is that we are existing in a dream. This is a dream. This is a holographic dream projection. It acts like a dream. This reality is a dream. The fourth dimension is a dream. And the third dimension follows the fourth dimension. Like all templates for the fourth dimensional dream are created in the dream. That's what we would have hopefully come to understand as a collective. And we would have come to understand how to construct the dream, because it's that level of understanding that is the prerequisite for us to be granted access to the fifth dimension, so that we don't fuck the fifth dimension up. I don't really know if we could. I honestly think it'll just spit us back out if we try to plug in any old false matrix programs of disempowerment or victimization or whatever. I think it'll just spit us back out, but we still don't even want to try to bring that bullshit into the fifth dimensional dream. We don't want to. It's gross. It's nasty in the fourth dimension. We all know it. We don't want to bring that forward. So Neptune in Pisces was all about gradually realizing that this is a dream and learning how to be the lucid dreamer, the awakened creator within the dream, so that when we are finally granted access to the fifth dimension, we can lucidly, consciously create in that beautiful, beautiful dream. It's like the most amazing sandbox Like I'm thinking of when my son used to play Gary's Mod, like those kind of games that have no objective. It's just a creation game. And you can create objectives within the game, but it's not built with an objective in it. It's just an open sandbox to play your game. The fifth dimension is like that. It's just so beautiful and so open and so yet undefined. And Neptune is now in Aries, which means that we're there. We're in the place where the dream is being built. We have breached the gap between the fourth dimension and the fifth dimension. But we're brand new there. Like brand new. We are still newborns, wet from the passage through the birth canal, like brand new there. So we're still figuring it out. I'm still figuring it out. Still getting my bearings, still getting my sea legs. Saturn is the real taskmaster that's like insisting that we process these lessons now. The time is now. We need to process them now because we don't want to bring them forward into the new dream. And soon Saturn is going to leave Pisces and enter Aries and start lending its support to Neptune in Aries. They'll both retrograde back to Pisces, so undoubtedly we will have more karmic lessons to learn and more, reinforcing that we actually are the dreamer, creating the dream. But during the late spring and summer portion of this year, Saturn is going to be supporting us in Aries, supporting Neptune, the dreamer that we are, in Aries by bringing foundation and structure to the dream that we are dreaming. I think, I'm not making any promises, and I have a feeling that's when we're going to start seeing, for those of us who have really been doing our timeline work and really, really allowing ourselves to dream the dream, that's when we're going to start actually seeing significant materialized manifested shifts, is when Saturn moves into Aries. Sort of that undeniable, whoa, this is happening. Wow, my reality is changing on the 3D level. Whoa, the thing that I was dreaming is actually happening. I can't make any promises, and if you sit around waiting for that time, waiting is the opposite of what we should ever be doing, pretty much. Especially as we plan to move into Aries. Don't sit around and wait passively. Your work right now is to heal and release whatever residual sort of karmic lessons there are. And karmic doesn't have to mean past life karma. It can also just mean lessons that you need to learn in the 4D in order to truly pass fully in the 5D. And this totally applies to me. Just know there's no air of superiority in any of this talk, because I've just been taken to task over the last couple days, and last week was brutal. There are lessons, there's shit I need to complete in the 4D before I'm really allowed to just exist in the 5D. It's almost like pieces of myself that that are still built up around illusion that I have to dissolve so that it can pass through the screen. I don't know. One of the ways that I understand this journey from 4D to 5D is almost like when you're using a sifter to sift flour and dry ingredients together. And as you do that, anything that is still kind of coarse and lumpy gets caught. And that's kind of the point, right? Is to sift it into fine powder. It feels like that, the division between the fourth and fifth dimension is kind of like that. But rather than turning into fine powder, I mean, in a sense that's accurate. We still, I'm going to nerd out. I'm catching myself preparing to nerd out unnecessarily on the details of physics. I'm going to skip that nerd out. Okay. It'd probably be a 15-minute rabbit trail anyways. What's happening is we're not really necessarily turning into fine powder. I feel like it's more relevant to understand that we are turning into plasma light. And the coarse grains of ego illusion are being separated from the parts of yourself that have already become fluid. And it's not like you're completely dissolving and you have no identity at all whatsoever. You still have a sense of self, but it's a self that is so true that it's safe to be in a fluid state. Like it's always going to retain its core structure, but it doesn't have to fix into that structure. It can just flow through that structure template. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense to me, but I have the visuals to go along with it, which I have yet to figure out how to pluck from my third eye and transfer successfully into yours someday. Goals. So the parts of ourselves that Saturn is helping us with right now, they are the coarse grains of ego identity that is built around an illusion that can't actually fit in the fifth dimensional template. Like it can't fit. So we're having to leave these parts of ourselves behind, but we leave them behind we're not leaving these parts of ourselves behind. That was a misspeak. We're not leaving parts of ourselves behind. That's actually the whole point, is we're dissolving them. We're just realizing that, these parts are still stuck in the fourth dimension. There's still something that I identify with. There's still something where I feel like a trigger. I feel a fear. I'm afraid of being exposed. I'm afraid of being judged. I'm afraid of being yelled at. I'm afraid of it all falling apart. I'm afraid of it all being taken away, whatever. You know what I mean? Like we have some kind of identity construct that holds us in the 4D. So Saturn is really bringing that to our awareness and helping it to dissolve. And also there've been a lot of conjunctions with the North Node, like maybe Pisces is conjunct with the North Node. I can't remember, but there's like, this is a really intense little window of time where all of this is happening. Anyways. Okay. Moving on to the cards that I pulled. So if I had any doubts that we had shifted into the 5D, these cards are eliminating those doubts. But I didn't have any doubts. I know I can feel it so strongly. I can just feel I can feel the difference. Like, it's funny. I've even been asking myself again this week, or not even asking myself, just being like, I think I died. I actually think that I died. Like maybe on a 4D timeline, I died. I don't know. It feels that different. When I'm in the 5D, it literally feels like I've gone to a different reality. Even though I'm still in my same house and I still look like myself in the mirror and all that kind of stuff, it's like, I don't know, it's like one dream ending and then you wake up in another version of the dream that is similar enough, but certain things are rearranged to allow for the best outcome possible. That's how it feels. It's so different. Anyway, the cards are the Fool from the Tarot, which is like it's the 0th card of the Tarot. It's like the new beginning, the brand new beginning, the Alpha and Omega, the threshold that I'm talking about between Pisces and Aries, between the 4th dimension and the 5th dimension, between old reality and new reality. That's where we are. And then the second card that I pulled is the Ace of Swords, which is about these clarity moments. And I always like the imagery of a bolt of lightning and the way it just like suddenly lights up the whole space, and in a flash, like in a the blink of an eye, you're able to see everything, but you're only able to take so much of it in, and then it's gone. But for a while, there's this lingering imprint in your mind, like you're able to remember it, and then eventually that fades too. And right now, the energy feels like a whole bunch of lightning cracks. So it's like a lightning storm where it's not just one moment of like profound clarity. It's all these accumulated moments of clarity here and clarity there, but maybe it's not the full profound moment. I don't know. I think they all accumulate into the full profound moment. But yeah, energetically, it feels like a lightning storm of important realizations. And then the third card that I pulled from the tarot is actually my favorite card of the tarot. It's Judgment. It's the Judgment card. And the reason I love this card is because it just reminds me of the frequency of the Akashic records. And it's funny, it's like record keeper consciousness, or the consciousness of one who exists in the Akashic records. It's funny that it's called the Judgment card, but I think what it means is like what true judgment is as an exalted principle, which does not involve any criticism, but to the total contrary, it is like true judgment. That record keeper consciousness is the ability to see the whole thing, just see it all from all angles and all levels and all perspectives and vantage points, and to just get it. And you feel full of compassion, not criticism, compassion. But you can also see things that, things that it's hard because the human language and even the human understanding requires me to try and use judgment words to describe it. But it's like you can see things that you feel the disappointment, and you feel the you feel all of the feelings involved. And they're not all pleasant. It's not all goodness. But in the end, you see where it fits into the grand scheme of everything. And so you feel peace. And you understand, it's not just understand, that there's nothing for you to change. That level of consciousness is what judgment is to me. It's like one of the freest levels of consciousness I have ever found. And that's why I love the Akashic Records. And that's why I just it is my place. It's my thing. It's what I want to do all the time, because that is what the Akashic Records feels like. And I believe that is the level of consciousness that is required of us as we go through these, Saturnian, North Node, Venus, Mercury all together in the late degrees of Pisces kind of dance that's happening. Is to be able to cultivate that level of consciousness and awareness, and that ability to hold the thing and look at it from all the angles and feel the full spectrum of feelings and have judgments about it, but not get pulled into the lower criticism judgments or the lower victimization judgments, but to just be able to see it as what it is and be at peace with it as what it is, and to be able to put it back on the shelf because it's not you. That's what I believe that we are being called into. We're being called into that so that we can operate from that level of consciousness within the fifth dimension. It's required. We can't be there and stay there when we are in critical judgment or we are rejecting anything. It isn't the completely dissolved Piscean, like martyrdom sort of. There's a wounded Piscean archetype that I want to make sure I'm not accidentally activating in anybody. There's a wounded Piscean archetype of the martyr that is so dissolved and so like one with everything that it experiences a form of denial and disassociation, which causes it to allow everything. And that's not the purpose. The beauty of the Judgment card is that it is wanted, not just from the Judgment card, but like in the universe, in the structure of this whole universal thing that we are experiencing currently as human beings and through other dimensions as well, is to experience judgment, to experience a decision internally of what we choose and what we don't choose. But what happens as humans in the fourth dimension, and I'm sure it was even truer in the third dimension, I don't remember that well anymore. I think the third dimension ended in the 90s. I actually do. I'm absolutely certain of it, But maybe in 2012, I don't know. I think it was kind of in the 90s. Anyways, or at least the 90s was probably when they started uploading us to the cloud. The purpose is to have judgment, to decide what you choose, because that is going to feed and inform what you create. And then you decide what you don't choose, and you don't choose it, so that it does not feed and inform what you create. But we, in the fourth dimension, we often get mired into identifying with what we don't choose. And it's through feelings of shame, guilt, criticism, rejection, superiority, like anything like that. That's an indication that there's something that we're judging, and it's okay if we do not choose it, but we are accidentally, unknowingly identifying with the not choosing of it. And so we continue to pre-populate it into our creation and what we are manifesting. So if we don't want to carry this forward, these things, then the level of consciousness required is that Akashic record keeper consciousness, where we can just see it and see it from all angles and feel the full spectrum of what we feel about it, and then decide what we choose and what we don't choose, and accept that there's nothing to change. It's just deciding what to choose. And then you just put it back. You just put it back on the shelf because it's not you. Okay, so then I pulled 2 oracle cards. We're almost done here, I promise. I pulled 2 oracle cards. The first one is from Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light Oracle, and the card is Lemuria, creating heaven on earth. It's happening. So we have shifted into the 5D. Everybody could argue me right now, everybody in the whole world, and I might kind of doubt myself, but then my internal experience is so loud, I have to listen to it. I know that we are in the 5D. And I'll say too, I toggle back and forth. Like I said, with the Saturn shit, I am being taken through my own lessons that Saturn wants to ensure that I learn. It's not fun. I'm toggling currently between the 5D and the 4D. So when I'm in the 5D, it feels so amazing that, again, I keep thinking I think I died. And this is sort of my transitional space between life and full paradise. It's so profound. The way that the energy moves is so different, and it's so beautiful, and it feels so freaking good in the 5D. And then something from the 4D will snap me back. And it's usually something outside of myself, actually. It's like manifesting as an external thing. But like, for example, last week was feeling so good in the 5D. And then my brain manufactured a dream wherein my daughter fell into a river and the current was pulling her away. That dream fucked me up so bad. It was so vivid and so linear. To me, that's the 4D. It's like trying to pull me back. And my work, whether there's any kind of dark energy influencing that or not, my work remains the same. My work is to be with it, witness myself, give myself the space to have the full reaction that I had, and then dissolve whatever pieces of fear and sort of like ego illusion I am able to detect around that dream. And then I shift back into the 5D, and then I'm there for a few days, and then something else, like somebody calls to remind me that I have an overdue bill, and I'm like, oh my God. And then poof, back in the 4D. And again, then it's like pieces of ego identity that I have to recognize and dissolve so that I can bring them with me through the mesh of the sieve. I can bring them into my 5D light body. Anyways, so I know that we are in the 5D now. We have breached. It's like if we were constructing a bridge this whole entire time, it's like we've actually established the bridge. It's both sides. It's connected on both sides. The 4D is connected to the 5D, and we're able to actually pass through it now. Or another example I gave on that energy report that got lost was to describe that it's also kind of like, imagine that we're all headed in the same direction, and this direction is like, I don't know, whatever. I'm sure it has a whole bunch of other features, but one of the features is a radio tower that's emitting a certain radio signal. And we're all driving in our cars, and we're coming from all directions, but we are all headed to that radio tower. And that radio tower is radiating the 5D radio station. But for a long time, we were out of range of that radio station. So even if we're turning the dials, AM, FM, whatever, we still wouldn't pick it up. And it feels like now what has happened is that some of us have entered into what's it called? Like the zone, God damn it. Well, we're within range, the zone that is like within range, and we're still kind of at the outskirts. So sometimes I'm dialed in, and sometimes I lose the station, and I'm still having to, really finesse the dial and also finesse the direction that I'm driving. But when I'm in like serious alignment, that signal is clear and so beautiful. And then if something knocks me out of alignment, or I just go a little too far, like turn the dial a little too far, then I lose my connection with the station, or it's much more staticky. Like, that's a pretty good description. And if you feel like, as you're listening to my words, anytime I'm talking about the 5D timeline, if you're like, oh my God, I don't feel this at all. Please don't panic, and please don't feel like that means anything about you. It means nothing. It means nothing at all. Like, we're all moving in the same direction. Sometimes I think that I just agreed to come and be part of the scouting mission so that I'm like hitting that zone on the earlier side and then reporting back. But we're all headed there together, and we're all getting closer and closer to being within range of this 5D like radio wave broadcast. That's my analogy. So the last card that I pulled is from Janine Burgess's beautiful hand-painted mandala oracle deck. I just love her deck. All of these gorgeous mandalas and some of the cards that feature different imagery, they're all hand-painted by Janine, and they're just like exquisite. Anyway, the card that I pulled is sovereignty. This life is yours and yours alone. Stand strong in your truths and convictions. Set boundaries. All the wisdom you need resides within you. Trust the inside of your soul and feel the river of joy flow within you, knowing that you and you alone have authority over your own physical existence. And that's really what it's about too, is like, I think a lot of the 4D stuff is disentangling ourselves from, obviously from the matrix itself, which is intense. It's a lot. We've been jacked into the matrix our whole lives. That's all we know. It's very challenging to truly and fully disconnect from the matrix. And it's sneaky in all its little ways. It's definitely trying to worm its way like deeper in and wrap itself around us in all its little ways. But we have to disentangle ourselves from the matrix and also disentangle ourselves from each other. And so much of this Aries energy is about that sovereignty and is about like, you're the only one that can birth yourself through your own heart portal into the 5th dimension. You're the only one. I'm the only one that can do it for myself, no matter how hard it seems. No one can do it for me, and nobody can help me beyond the point of willingness I have to help myself. And it's crazy to hear myself say things like that, because my grandpa used to say that, and I would get little bleeding heart Amy. As a little kid, I would feel so mad because I'd be like, don't you understand what people are going through? And I think he probably lacked some compassion, but he was a wonderful, wonderful man. But I think some of it was that he actually lacked some compassion for what people experience. But I find myself saying the same thing, and it's from a deep realization, which I think a lot of healers and readers and just like energetic or spiritual guides, any service provider who is really here wanting to help from their heart, I think a lot of us are having an amplification of this awareness that we literally can't help anybody else beyond the point of their willingness to help themselves. And another way of understanding it that hopefully sounds less potentially judgmental is sort of like, we're not able to heal someone. Okay, here's a perfect example. Think about that person that you're having a hard time forgiving. Maybe you don't have one. You don't have to. If you don't have one, that's amazing, and I'm very happy for you. If you have somebody that you're having a hard time forgiving, think about that person. Maybe it's yourself. I can't forgive you for you. I can't forgive that person for you. I want to. I want to so much. I want you to experience the relief and release from the burden of that grudge or that unforgiveness. I want you to experience that beautiful peace, and I can't create it for you. That's what I mean when I say that people, like, we can only help others to the extent that they're willing to help themselves. And it isn't to belittle their situation or your situation or like the difficulty of what you're experiencing in your manifested reality. It can be very complicated and very difficult. But I think what Aries, like the really big gift that Aries is offering us, and with all the support in Pisces, is to realize like that it's okay for us to do this for number one. It's okay. Like, the journey you know that thing, I can't remember what you would say, but there's like a passage in the Bible, and I literally do not know where in the Bible it's from, and please forgive me, I don't mean to be disrespectful and quoting something that I can't quote properly, but it's an important concept, and I remember it really being striking to me when I heard it as a child, even though I obviously didn't understand. But it says something like, it's as easy for a rich man to get to heaven as it is for a camel to pass through the eye of the needle. And I, like, you know, as a child, I was trying to interpret that literally. And I was like, first of all, what? Like, that doesn't even, like, none of those analogies made sense for the, you know, circumstances I found myself in as a child, not living anywhere with camels and all that kind of stuff. But what I came to understand, and this came through back in 2020, maybe 2021, but I remember understanding that this is a passage through the heart portal, and that we can only do this alone. And so we can hold on through the bonds of love to the people that we love, but we can't hold on to each other, and we cannot use each other as excuses. And like, wherever, you know, that person that is kind of rubbing you the wrong way, and maybe you live with them, maybe it's your spouse or your partner, maybe it's a roommate, it's just somebody that maybe it's a coworker, somebody that you encounter often enough that they're kind of, you know, like taking your energy or just taking your vibe a little bit. And that tendency that we have to want to bring them with us, or we're mad because they won't change first, and they're like, all of that, we just have to let it go and focus completely inward and just let that person drop through their own heart portal in their own timing, and just focus on dropping through ours, and understand that sovereignty is like one of the highest laws of this universe and the multiverse. I believe that sovereignty is one of the highest laws of all creation. Sovereignty is required if we want to pass beyond this level that we've been at as humans, and it's been hard, and it's like, yeah, I don't need to tell you. If we want to actually get out of the fourth dimension and into the fifth dimension, where everything is so fresh and so beautiful and so like, it's not full of promise waiting to be spoiled. It's full of promise that refuses to be spoiled. It will not. It will spit us back out. So if we want to actually touch down and stay and build and create within that beautiful space, we have to come in full sovereignty. Only, like, the energy will only flow in accordance with the law of sovereignty, among the other highest laws. So that means we have to be willing to become truly sovereign and disentangle from all of the drama stories, all of the resentment, all of the ways that we have wrapped our own identity around someone else. But it's definitely still retaining the love. It's like, it's not about losing somebody. And I mean, maybe that is another one of the gifts that Killian really gave me with his passing, is I can experience a perception of loss that is valid and real, and also experience the ongoing having, because the bond of love is never gone. It's never gone. That love is always there. And it's not just a memory. It is a living, present love that continues to evolve every single day. And it's not the one-sided delusion of a woman who, has had to figure out how to cope with the death of her child. It is a true reciprocal awareness of him still being here. And by here, I obviously don't mean in the third dimension or in the fourth dimension. I mean, like, he exists and I am in relationship with him. I am in connection with him. And that is so real. So when I'm saying like sovereignty and disentangling, like, we have to be willing to let go that much. But it doesn't mean that the people in our lives that we're holding on to are going to die. It means that you're holding on to the real thing and you're letting go of the illusions that come from the fear of losing. So you're holding on to the love that you have for them that is eternal and evolving in every moment and growing and expanding and deepening in every moment. That is what's real, and that will never go away. And so you can never lose the people that you love. You can never lose them. You can never lose the things that you love, that you experience true heart resonant love for. So then you have to be willing to surrender the parts of you that are holding on to illusory ideas of who you are in relationship to this other person or these other people, or who they are in relationship to you. It's like we've got to set all of ourselves, we've got to set everybody else free, but you only set everybody in your life free by setting yourself free first. You set yourself free that you don't need anything from them. They don't have to show up in any particular way. You don't have to continue playing out this drama. You don't have to keep having these conversations, and it doesn't have to be confrontational or unpleasant. It can just be a willingness to release the things that aren't real and then replacing it with a holding on to the things that are real. Okay, I feel like I could talk forever, but I've also been talking forever. So right at the typical 50-ish minute mark, I'm going to wrap it up and bring through a little bit of light language to soothe your soul. Ke taro horo itro afania toro ki ara kushio so itoro kitra falawentera ki ahinara koro ha isono era ki choro era ka itono era salawentera ki o hetra fania taro oyokera he sono arato koto aro hena te aro keo. Okay, my beautiful friends, I love you so much. I am just putting the finishing touches on a program to help you learn how to open your divine channel. It's not quite ready yet, but keep your eyes open. I will most definitely be sharing it via email. So if you're not subscribed to my email list, I'll drop a link in the show notes below. That's the best place to go. I honestly don't know if I'm going to share about it on Instagram or how much, or on the main podcast, or even if I'll continue sharing about it here. I don't know. I know I'll share it to my email list. So if that's something interesting to you, if you want to learn how to open and activate your channel, I will tell you how. And if you've been in my things before, you know me, I tell you the whole thing. I don't withhold. I'm not like, oh, these are the first 3 steps, but I'll teach you the rest when. I tell you actually how to do it. And I believe that a lot of people are being called into this role now to help interpret the current energies, either for the collective or for a smaller community, or for the people in your life. Regardless, like, I think a lot of us are being called into the role of channel, oracle, reader, and healer. And it's an interesting path, I'll tell you that. I really wished that I had a mentorship. I figured out how to do it through the death of my son. And I did join a program to learn how to develop and trust my psychic abilities, and that was a freaking good decision. But there's so much that goes into specifically being a channel and an oracle that I've never received mentorship in, and it has been very challenging. And I really look forward to sharing insights about that with all of you who may feel called to this path. So, as I said, join my email list if you definitely want to hear about it. There's no obligation, obviously. This is just so you actually don't miss the information when it comes out. And otherwise, as always, I mean, like, I just can't speak highly enough about the Akashic Keys Mystery School. It's a beautiful space where, like, we keep talking about this kind of stuff. Like, if you want to have a discussion with me and with other people about the things that are coming through and the current energies, and, like, we talk about astrology, we talk about human design, the Akashic records. I do a monthly Akashic Key initiation. So this last month was about the dragons and what dragons are, and dragon energy versus actual dragons and all that kind of stuff. Later this month, I'm going into the angelic consciousness, who are the angels, the archangels, those of us who have angelic aspects or expressions in higher dimensions, all that kind of stuff. May, I'm talking about Lemuria. June, I'm talking about Atlantis. If you love that kind of stuff and you would like that kind of extremely beautiful high-level community, then you will love the Akashic Keys Mystery School. It also includes a library of all of my best codes and transmissions that I've brought through since 2020. So check out the link in the show notes for that. Otherwise, I hope you guys are surviving. As always, it means so much to me when I hear from you. The best place to reach me is via email, because I definitely see those and they get saved to a special inbox. And I have this dream that someday I will be able to sit down and write you all back, even if it was like 2 years ago that you emailed me, because I read them and I remember, and it means so much. It really, really does. You know, it's nice to hear from you and understand you as a real person. So I love it when you email and let me know how you are. And otherwise, you can message me on Instagram, DMs. Sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm not. So it's slightly riskier, but sometimes I'm there. But yeah, I love you guys. I hope you're surviving. And I'll catch you on the next one.